increase synthesis of proteins. Amino acids increase synthesis of a new gene. Second stage is sustainable adaptation stage. In first stage, I said that cell trying to increase own functions and synthesis of proteins and amino acids. Why cell doing this? To lead to second stage, the sustainable stage. In this stage, it will be hypertrophy, increasing size, and hyperplasia, increasing of number of cells. Why we need hypertrophy and hyperplasia of cells? To be adapted. Adaptation stage. Third stage is cell death. So, types of cell death are types of cell injury. So first type is acute chronic. Next type is direct and indirect. Direct cell damage, indirect cell damage. Next type is partial total. Partial part of the cell it will be damaged, or total all the cell. And types of cell damage could be reversible and irreversible. Reversible and irreversible. Next, while the cause is damages the cell, how the cell or which symptoms we can find in cell or manifestation of cell damage. We divide them into manifestation of cell damage, specific and non-specific. Specific means one causing factor lead to one manifestation. One causing factor lead to one manifestation. Non-specific, a lot of causing factor can do these manifestations. Because of what we call this specific and non-specific. Specific, for example, high temperature causing denaturation of proteins. Denaturation of proteins. It seems simply as coagulation of proteins. Or cyanide is a poison. It's causing blockage of cytochrome oxidase. Cytochrome oxidase enzyme inside mitochondria. This specific manifestation. Non-specific, any cause factor can cause these manifestations. For example, acidosis of cell, high permeability of membrane, and so on. Specific and non-specific symptoms of cell. Next, types of cell death. We know there are two types of cell death. Cell death, two types. Necrosis and apoptosis. The difference between them, the necrosis, it's as sequences of damage, inflammation, any of these dystrophy, atrophy. Apoptosis, it's a normal cell death. It means programmed cell death. So inside cell, in genetic apparatus, we have genes. Genes are functioning for apoptosis. For example, BAX, it's apoptic gene, and BCL2, anti-apoptic gene. In case of apoptosis, it will deactivate the enzyme calling as endonuclease. These enzymes causing fragmentation of DNA. DNA will be fragmented. These fragments will be capsulated. We call these bodies are apoptic bodies, and then macrophage coming and phagocytoses these bodies. Apoptosis can be basic of some normal functions in our body. For example, menstruation cycle. aging, also apoptosis. But necrosis, it's abnormal cell death because of what I said, that necrosis, it's a sequences of inflammation or damage or dystrophy. Next information is the main. Now the question is how exogenous and endogenous factors can damage the cell. The question is how exogenous and endogenous factors can damage the cell. Again, how endogenous and exogenous factors can damage the cell. Which mechanisms of cell damage? There are five. Five mechanisms of cell damage. First mechanism, cell membrane damage. Cell membrane damage. Next mechanism, energy supply disorder. Third, ion disbalance, ion imbalance, ion and water imbalance. Fourth, genetic damage or genoma damage or genoma disorders. Fifth, neurohumoral disorders. Again, five mechanisms of cell damage. First, cell membrane damage. Second, energy supply disorders, ion imbalance, genetic disorders, and neurohumoral disorders. So let us discuss. First mechanism is cell membrane damage. We have four mechanisms of cell membrane damage. Four mechanisms of cell membrane damage. Which? First one, peroxidation of lipids, of these lipids. Peroxidation. Next, activation phospholipase. Phospholipase is its enzyme which can cause destruction of phospholipids of membrane. Next, osmotic or mechanical rupture. And next, immune damage. So let me please repeat again five mechanisms of cell damage. Cell membrane damage, energy supply disorders, ion imbalance, genetic damage, and neurohumoral disorders. Cell membrane damage, four mechanisms: peroxidation of cell membrane, of lipids, activation of phospholipase, osmotic mechanical damage, and immune damage. About peroxidation, what can I say? We have causal of peroxidation. We call them pro-oxidants. How we call them? Pro-oxidants. What is pro-oxidants? What is this? This, any material which can cause peroxidation of lipids. For example, hypervitaminosis D, radiation, stress, hyperglucocorticosteroidemia, when we have a lot of cortisol, it also causing. Hyperadrenalinemia, it means hypercatecholamia, a lot of adrenaline also cause, and so on, a lot of them. But while we have a lot of pro-oxidants, so also we have antioxidants. You have to remember that suffix pro means causing, anti means protection or prevent. So according to peroxidation of cell membrane, we have pro-oxidant which are causing, and antioxidant which prevent. So pro-oxidant, I have said, antioxidant are. We have own antioxidant enzymes. For example, SOD, superoxide dismutase, glutathione reductase, glutathione peroxidase, catalase. These enzymes are antioxidants. And we have also natural antioxidants. For example, vitamin E. It's also antioxidant. Understood? For example, creams which use girls, creams for face. Inside these creams, they are written, if you see that vitamin E is consist there, because it's antioxidant, so it's prevent their face from radiation, to don't cause peroxidation. Understood? So next mechanism of cell membrane damage is activation of phospholipase. Phospholipase, internal phospholipase, internal. This phospholipase has the properties to damage these heads. This from the word phospholipids. Phospholipids are the heads. Phospholipase, they can destroy these heads. How the phospholipase could be activated or hyperactivated? 4 or 5 causes. First is free radicals. O1, OH, H2O2. They are also pro-oxidant. Yes. And they are also causing a hyperactivation of phospholipase. The second cause of activation of phospholipase is calcium, when it will be inside cell. Calcium. Second. Third is ischemia. Low of blood supply of cells. It will activate phospholipase. Then bite. Bee bite. Snake bite. Bee bite, snake bite. Next mechanism of membrane damage is osmotic or mechanical mechanism. Osmotic or mechanical mechanism. What does it mean? Osmotic pressure, it means the pressure which can attract water. So, if the osmotic pressure inside cell high or outside cell high, what will happen? If osmotic pressure outside cell is high, so the water will be shifted from inside cell to outside, and cell will be shrunk. It will cause membrane damage. The opposite, if the osmotic pressure will be high inside cell, the water will go inside cell and the cell will be swelled, and it also causing membrane damage. This what means osmotic damage. Immune damage means when our membrane or the receptors will be adhesion of some immune complexes, for example, antigen, antibody, and then immune system will come to destroy this, and together with cell membrane, it's basic of autoimmune diseases, immune damage. So let me please repeat again 5 mechanisms of cell damage. First mechanism is cell membrane damage. Next mechanism, energy supply disorder. Third, ion imbalance. Fourth, genetic disorders. Neurohumoral damage. First, cell membrane. Cell membrane, 4 mechanisms: peroxidation of lipids, activation of phospholipase, osmotic damage, and immune damage. Next mechanism is energy supply. What does energy supply mean? It's not just energy synthesis. No, energy supply means energy synthesis, energy transfer, energy utilization. Repeat again. You, it's me. Energy supply means 3 mechanisms: energy synthesis, energy transport, energy utilization. Understood? Energy synthesis, I had said that energy synthesis is doing in mitochondria, and we need 5 conditions for energy synthesis. Which 5 conditions? Oxygen, glucose, insulin, vitamin B1, and mitochondria with own enzymes. So, how the energy synthesis can be destroyed or can be decreased? If we have an oxygen, or glucose, or insulin, or vitamin B1, or mitochondria. Energy transport, what does it mean? It means the ATP are produced here, and it will be transferred to other organelle inside cell. Transport causing by ATPase. So, how the energy transport can be destroyed? If we have no ATPase. Third mechanism is energy utilization. What does it mean? Using energy. Using energy by our organelles. So how it can be damaged? If our organelles are damaged, or if the energy are very more. Mitochondria doing a lot of energy, and our organelles cannot receive or cannot use. I forgot one point in cell membrane damage. What the sequences? What will happen if cell membrane will be damaged? What will happen? A lot of things. We have to remember the functions of cell membrane. Protection, so no protection. Permeability will be high, so any substances can go inside cell. It's bad, I think, bad. Next, receptor function will be destroyed. Autoimmune diseases can become autoimmune disease. Why? Because the cell membrane could be changed, and then immune system will not recognize it, so it will destroy it as foreign body. Can you believe? And also ion imbalance, because we have ion channels in membrane. So these sequences of cell membrane damage. What sequences will be if energy supply will be disorders? Which sequences? First sequence. Consequences. First consequences is our functions inside cells, synthesis, plastic functions will be decreased. No synthesis, no plastic functions. And so I said, this first consequences of energy supply disorder. Second, it will be activated of anaerobic respiration. Why? Because we have no energy, we need energy, we will activate anaerobic respiration. What does it mean? Pyruvate will be changed into lactic acid. It's bad. Why? Because we will have deposition of pyruvate and lactic acid inside cells, and it will causing acidosis. The pH will be low. And third consequences is ion imbalance. Why? Because I said in the start that ion channels are working with energy. They use energy to keep this concentration. So no energy, so ion pumps will not work. So calcium, sodium will go inside cell, potassium will outside. This is consequences of energy supply damaged. Third mechanism of cell membrane, of cell damage is ion imbalance. I think I had explained this. Ion imbalance or ion water imbalance, when the ions and water inside outside the cells will be imbalanced. The causing is membrane damage, this first cause, and energy supply disorders. what will happen? Consequences of ion imbalance. Consequences of ion imbalance. Which consequences of ion imbalance? Calcium will be inside high. Sodium will be inside high. Calcium, potassium will be outside high. It's bad or bad? Bad. Why? If potassium will be high outside, so potassium will be high in blood, hyperkalemia causing cardiac arrest. If sodium will be inside high, sodium is salt. It will attract water, cell swelling, cell injury. Then, if calcium will be inside high, it's also bad. Why? We will say it in next part.